Welcome to my tips for AFL Round 19. If we have a quick look at last week's results, we ended up getting 5 out of the 9 correct for tipping. The games we lost were Collingwood, where we had a predicted margin of 2, Western Bulldogs, which had a predicted margin of 13, Geelong with a predicted margin of 10, and Essendon with a predicted margin of 12. We did pick up a couple of the close games, being Fremantle and Sydney, and we won our games where we had a greater than 18 point spread predicted. So we were on all the favourites. So there were 5 out of the 9 favourites winning. Still holding the top spot in the tipping comp that I'm in for the Betfair VIP tipping comp. Will be interesting to see if I can hold that over the next 2 weeks, considering I will be away and have put in tips for the next 2 weeks. At least this week's tips are fairly good, but the week after has been a bit of a guess without seeing what happens this weekend. So, looking at the bets that we did have last week, we had 3 value bets. 2 of them lost, 1 of them won. So we were down pretty much $1.10, 1.1 units on that. That has taken that profit now down to just 1.51 units, not too good. But our bets where it is 18 points plus in the predicted margin both came off, giving us a 0.4 win, bringing that total up to 5.54 units, which is fairly good. Now, looking at round 19, take that down. Going into round 19, we have now hit 97.5 correct tips out of 128, which is fairly good, the half point being for the draw that happened earlier in the season. And on the handicap markets, on the spread, we've only hit 61 of 128, which is pretty bad. Not even randomly 50% there, it's under that. But we are just taking every tip based on the predicted margin. So not good there, but there's probably something to look at there at the end of the season to see where the difference in the point spread to the handicap, to the predicted margin that I have, to see how that actually performs. But that's an end of season thing, and then next season we may look at incorporating that into the actual betting that we are doing. So right now, let's have a look at what we have for this round, round 19. So in the Essendon versus GWS game, I have GWS only by 17 points with a predicted chance of 68%. For some reason, the market has GWS extremely low at $1.08 in the odds with a 44.5 handicap. Now that is a massive handicap difference where I've only got 17. So while we'll take GWS as the predicted winner, because we do agree with that, the handicap, we have to take Essendon with that large discrepancy there. Brisbane versus Western Bulldogs. I've got Brisbane there. It's only 56%. That's not a very high chance of winning. The predicted margin is only 6 points, so this game could go either way. Brisbane at home kind of gets you at the edge here. Odds are $1.58. The handicap in this game is 11.5. So again, it's fairly out with what we have. So we'll take the Western Bulldogs there on the handicap. Hawthorn versus Port Adelaide. We've got Hawthorn at home, 73% chance of winning. We have them at a 22-point predicted margin, $1.19 in the odds. The spread is minus 29.5. So we'll take Hawthorn. That will be a bet at the 18 plus. And we will take Port Adelaide on the handicap. Sydney versus North Melbourne. Sydney is clear favourites here with an 82% chance of winning. It is the highest chance of winning, same as Geelong this week. We've got them at 33 points in the predicted margin, $1.11 for the odds, minus 39.5 in the handicap. So We'll take North Melbourne to cover that handicap, but Sydney to win in that will be a bet as well. It is more than an 18-point predicted margin. Carlton versus Melbourne, interesting game here. I've got Melbourne 55%, only 4 points difference in this one with the margin. Both teams not great. $1.58 there for Melbourne to win this with the bookies. 10.5-point start for Carlton. So Melbourne is the tip to win, but Carlton to cover the spread. West Coast and Richmond. I have taken West Coast. This is pretty much a game of the bottom of the table. It's a 57% chance that West Coast actually comes out and wins this. I kind of do feel a little bit more confident on this one. West Coast has been playing well for 3/4 of the game. They just need to be able to put it in for a full game. I don't think Richmond is even putting it in for half of a game. So the 6 points there in the predicted margin, I do think they'll probably beat that. We are going to take West Coast on the handicap as it is only 4.5 there as well that they need to cover. Geelong versus St Kilda. I'm going to take Geelong 82%, 33 points, $1.16 in the odds. It's pretty easy that Geelong should win this one. It will be a bet again. We will take St Kilda to cover that spread though. Collingwood and Fremantle. We've got Collingwood 75% chance of winning. It's got a 22-point predicted margin. They should win fairly easy. $1.35, minus 20.5 on the handicap. So we will take Collingwood to both be the winner here and beat the handicap. Interesting when you look at these games. Fremantle isn't playing that bad. Collingwood's not playing to their best, but I expect that they'll do enough to win this. Adelaide versus Gold Coast. We've got Adelaide at home, 68%, only a 16-point predicted margin. Odds are $1.42. And we're going to take Gold Coast to cover that with a 16.5-point handicap. It is interesting here. If you think about the predicted margins I have here, 18 points is only 3 kicks. So it's not a lot in a game of football when we're pretty much looking at up to 3 goals where they could kick a behind here and there, could be poor kicking, could be an intercept, something like that kind of changes the game. So that's why sticking to those at 18 plus has been doing better than the other betting. So not surprised. Hopefully we can get the 4 games this week again and continue to move up the profit there. Let's go have a look at what we have for bets this week. Okay, we only have one value bet. So here is the fair odds that you would want to take. If you can get odds higher than this, you're probably getting value in the market. So right now, the only one that actually meets that is Collingwood. So we'll take Collingwood there at $1.35. They were predicted to win by 22 points. So that's probably a good chance there for us to get that bet over the line. If we look at those that have got the 18 plus, we've pretty much got 4 bets there. And if I go back and have a look, they were Hawthorn, Sydney, Geelong, and Collingwood. Pretty much 4 home teams as well. So hopefully that does help them get across the line. If we were to win all of those, we'd pick up 0.81 of a unit, which would be pretty good. And the last one, if you took it where it was both value and 18 plus, we were currently down. So this hopefully gets a win and brings us closer to being in profit, which is interesting that this is down, because it probably means if the odds are a bit higher than you expect, there's something the model doesn't know, and could be a reason why the odds are higher and therefore the margin should be lower. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Good luck if you are having a bet on any of these tips. Good luck in your tipping comps. I will not have round 20 up I may be able to do a quick video putting out what the 18 plus tips are. But for the tipping comps, I won't be able to put up round 20 because I will be traveling overseas. So we'll have to see if I can get a video up while I'm on holidays. Hopefully we get this round perfect, and then next round I've taken a bit of a guess based on the figures I currently have. It's currently favourites for all the games, but it's hard to know until this round's games are done because that does influence the model a fair bit. So we're just going to have to see what happens. Hopefully I can hold the top of the VIP tipping comp, and hopefully we can get these bets across the line this week, as I'm not going to be able to put in bets next week because I will be in a country that does not have access and does not allow betting. So we'll just have to skip that week for actually putting bets in for myself. Okay, gonna leave it there. Good luck if you are having a bet. Good luck on your tipping, and look for videos in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching.